Whichever city in the UK any of us ever visit as tourists, its heritage is always part of the attraction. London is a city where Shakespeare wrote and performed, where monarchs have ruled, and from where empires have been run. And perhaps most importantly, London will soon be the only city to have hosted 3 Olympic Games. 2012 is Queen Elizabeth II's 60th year on the throne. The homes the British monarch still occupies in the capital and elsewhere will no doubt be huge tourist attractions throughout the Games, and 1 or 2 of them will even get a starring role. Just 10 miles west of Buckingham Palace is another world. Famously seized by Henry VIII from Cardinal Wolsey in 1529, Hampton Court will be the start and finish point in the men's and women's cycle time trials. But there's one Royal London attraction that's been entertaining guests for nearly 1,000 years, and its distinctive band of guards are ready for many more of them during 2012.
Beef was not a common meat in the 13th and 14th centuries. People living outside of the Tower of London were very jealous of those living in, because the meat at the banqueting table would then be distributed to the families living here inside of the tower. So the name Beefeater is really that name that was given to the body of yeoman warders in jealousy.
Travel eastwards down the Thames and you'll find Greenwich. Henry VIII was born here, and his palace soon became a royal sporting playground.
500 years ago, when Greenwich Palace stood on this site, which is one of Henry VIII's favourite palaces, among many sports that he played here at the palace was jousting, and he built his own tilt yard over towards where the park is now. So it's really, really appropriate the equestrian games are going to be happening here in Greenwich Park.
But nearly 150 years after Henry's death, his old palace became the site for something even grander, the Old Royal Naval College. And in 2011, the perfect place to announce Team GB's sailing squad.
There's been so many great sailors over the years learning their trade here. Knowing that history and knowing the pressure that's upon us, it was quite a special day. I'm going to find that so great to have my foreign competitors that I've raced against for years being here and realising how much the public are enjoying this Olympics. That party atmosphere is going to be fantastic.
Christopher Wren's Naval College now sits happily amongst more recent architecture, a pattern visible right across London and clearly visible from the Heron Tower.
London isn't like any other city, actually. It's a composite city. It's a city that comes out of many, many influences, and partly that's because it was always a global trading place, and so styles and influences and technologies have come here from all over the world.
For the engineers and architects involved in the 2012 Games, the challenge has been to create buildings that transcend their function.
In doing the velodrome, what we were trying to do was honestly contain the function of cycling. We've pulled the surface of the building so that it literally just contains it. We've used materials like timber all over the building because they're the materials we want to use today, and lightweight steel to make a very, very light roof. That building is a form follows function building, but it's of now. It's of London in the 21st century.
If architecture can sometimes become great art, one man's mission is to search out more of it amongst the rubble and mud of the Olympic site.
When I was commissioned by the ODA to be their artist in residence, my remit, I guess, was to make what was happening on the park visible to a wider audience of it. It was trying to kind of tell something of the story of the people who were working on the park.
Neville's work has captured a new chapter in London's life, and as millions of visitors prepare to descend on the city next summer, each of them will be adding to the cultural, historical and sporting heritage of this great metropolis.
My role at the park is absolutely unique. I don't think there's ever been an Olympic park built where they've had an artist in residence before. And I think it's a really different role, because what it means is I was given a remit to spend all that time on the park and respond to it over that 15 months. As soon as you start, one of the things that comes across is people are telling you there's so many million tons of concrete and so many thousand bricks or tiles, and everything seems to be around measurements. And that really became my sort of guiding principle. And one of the people I met on the buses was an obsessive swimmer as well as driving the buses. So one of the projects I wanted to see if I could do was get Sam to swim the length of one of these internal bus routes in the Olympic pool. There's so many things that you'd like to do, you just know you don't physically have the time to do them.
Well, the sailing for the Olympics is actually not held in London, it's in Weymouth on the south coast. A fantastic sailing venue. It's one of the things I like about it, a little technical, but it challenges you on a lot of levels. There's a man-made harbour there called Portland Harbour, and there's also the open ocean. So we have half of our races inside and half our races out, which tests you on a lot of different levels. One of the things I'm most proud about with Weymouth is for the last 5 years since the centre's been built, almost straight after the Olympic vote, I've been coming down, seeing 600 children every single day sailing out of the centre. I think we're the only facility that is kind of having our legacy before we've even got there, and that's really special.